everyone, Jacqueline here. So it's a beautiful day on the prairies. The snow is melting and I think it's a good day to plant some tulips. Now I got some tulips at Lowe's on sale for $2.50 a bunch. They did have some for also $4.50. So anyhow, I went through them, picked the best ones I could find because I knew the weather was going to warm up and thought, hey, maybe I can shove a few more tulips in the backyard, maybe a few more in the front to give more color in the spring. So let me show you what I have. So the first off is I got some crocuses. Now this is the assorted crocuses. There's 20 bulbs in a pack. You can see here. Really, really nice. They look good. They've got some sprouts on them. You'll see in here. And when I take them out and put them in a container, you'll see up close. But they look really, really good. So I got some of these. So I have 4 packages of these, so that's about 80. I think they would go nicely around the gazebo. As a kid, we used to go to the lake and open the cabin up in the spring, and I used to love it when we went out of there first part of the spring, and you'd see the crocuses in bloom on the hillsides and on along the roads and stuff. So that brings back good childhood memories for me. So I think these will be beautiful. So I got 4 of these, so 80 bulbs of them. My next one, which I was really excited about, is the Apricot Parrot Tulips. I think this is just stunning. There is 12 bulbs in a package, and I had to really pick through them because there was some rot, but as I dug deeper into the boxes, I found better ones at the back. So there is the odd one in these packages that maybe doesn't look quite so good, but for $2.50, hey, who's going to complain? So I got 3 packages of those, so 36 of these. The next one I have here is Finola. It's a double late tulip. Really, really pretty. Good sized bulbs. There are 12 in the pack as well. And they don't look too bad. There is the odd one I've seen in the packs that might look a little shriveled up, but for the most part, really good. And I have 4 of those, so 48 of Finola. And I think they're beautiful. So we got to find places where to put these. So we'll start with planting the crocuses first because I know where I want them around the gazebo so I can see them from the kitchen. Like I mentioned in the prior video, you know, if you don't plant like thousands and thousands of bulbs like some channels do, or some viewers do, or if you don't have the space, you know, you can plant them in containers if you're in an apartment. You can take those containers and put them in the ground if you don't have a garage or someplace where you can store them. Like really, they need a cool spot for the winter, but not to freeze. So in Saskatchewan, we can't plant, well, we can plant tulips in containers, and we can do the lasagna method, but then if you don't have like a garage or a cold basement or a storage room, then you would need to dig the container into the ground. That is a lot of work and takes a lot of space. So I am trying to avoid that. My basement's way too warm. That's why I don't even store dahlias because I just don't have a cool space. That's just the way it goes. So anyhow, I plant directly into the ground and we'll try to get as much color as I can. The other thing is I am clay soil, so you got to be careful with clay. You want to analyze your yard and see where the snow stays. So if you have a really big snow banks in the side of the yard there and you have clay soil, 10 to 1, it might be too wet for those tulips. They could rot instead of blooming. So keep that in mind when you plant them. Look at your site. A lot of times in the past, I have amended my clay soil when I plant the tulips in areas that were really wet. So what I've done is I've dug the hole and I've put sand in the hole. So I dig it a little bit deeper and then put the tulips on top and put the sand on top of the tulips, then the clay soil on top. So there's a tip for you that also work to plant tulips in clay soil. So let's get going. I'm going to put these into a container and we're just going to work through these one by one. We'll start with the crocuses and I'll look for spots to where to put these. And it's probably about +5 right now. You still see my breath a little bit out here, but the snow is melting nicely. You can see green lawn behind me and there's patches of snow. So we're getting lucky with a nice week. Maybe it is an El Nino year, which would be absolutely fabulous. A nice mild winter really does shorten it for us here on the prairies because January, February can be brutal. Sometimes December is too, but January is known for being the coldest month of the year for us. Let's get started. I just wanted to give you a look at the crocuses and I'll show you all bulbs before I plant them because I'm going to have to go through them too. But these look really, really good. In fact, the crocuses look so good. they actually have little sprouts on them. So I rescued them basically from Lowe's, from being thrown in the garbage, because people just aren't buying them now because they think it's too late. But I can tell you, it's not too late. Like, these look exceptionally good. So I don't see a bad one in the bunch in this bowl. So extremely happy. They all have little sprouts on them. So let's go plant these first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig hills in this bed in 5 different spots and just basically take a handful of the crocuses that I've put in the pot and just spread them out for color, with the key focus on the beds that I see from the window, which is right here. And I'll just flip over here and show you, and right in there. Those are the 2 that I see the most. So I'm just going to go through. I've got my trusty hoe right here, and just going to dig little holes and spread some in and then cover them over. Now, one comment I want to make. I am in Zone 3B, Saskatchewan, Canada, and I will tell you from experience, I have never planted this late in the season bulbs. Like, I've never been able to put bulbs down, heading into the 2nd week of November. So this is unheard of. And had the weather been cold, and I wouldn't have bought the bulbs because it would have been pointless. But because we're having some decent weather, I mean, it's still cold. I've got my parker on right now because my hoodie was a little too chilly because there was a tiny breeze. But never have we had this kind of luck. So let's go along and make some holes, and then I'm just going to scatter them in. I'm not going to worry about upside down or right side up because bulbs will right themselves. We know this. There's been a lot of experiments done, and mass growers just put them in the ground in large amounts to get them in, and their machines don't right side up the tulips when they plant them by machine in Holland or anything like that, right? So I think sometimes we're a little too picky. So let's just get the job done, and let's go along here and dig some holes and get them in. So this is going to be very, very random. And you can see the soil is actually fantastic. Like, I'm impressed. So I'm just going to dig all the holes first and just put them where I can get them in. I don't care how close they are to other plants because, I mean, they're crocuses. And quite honestly, I find we all plant way too deep versus what we need to plant. But like right in here in these areas where they're going to have the biggest bang is perfect. This spot's a little bit more muddy than the other ones. So I've got 3, and I'm just going to randomly, I'm just going to take a handful, 5 or 6, and put in each one and just throw them in. There's no science to this at all. With that many bulbs, I can make them go quite a ways. And then I'm going to cover them over. So that's so simple. Just like that, and they'll be just fine. And then I'll just take my tool here, put that one back down, and just cover and tamp down. It makes a whole heck of a difference, you guys, that I came through here. And if you remember in prior videos, I amended all the soil in here. So much easier because the soil is fluffy and easy to dig in right now. These are the Apricot Parrot that I only got 3 packages of. And you can see what I mean by some of them being kind of shriveled. Like that's up close, you can see there's some, it's shriveled here. But like this one, I mean, look at it. It looks good. So I'm just going through these. There's no rot on them, like there's no mold or anything like that. So they definitely weren't doing anything but drying out. So I'm just looking through them, see if there's any. And I will plant that because it may still come. And just digging through this, there's another one that's pretty dry when I open it. But then there's ones like this who have a shoot on them. So I'm going to dig. I've got 36 here. I'm going to dig some holes further back in this bed around the hydrangeas that I have planted, and we're going to put them in there. And once again, I can think of it 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I can fix 6 holes. So 36 divided by 6, there you go. That's what we're going to put in there. I'm just going to put a handful in. If I have extras, then, technically it's like 6 per hole. I could count them out, I guess, and put them in. And I'm not going to right side them up. Once again, we're going to go with it and see how they do, because bulbs tend to fix themselves up. But I'm very happy with this. For $2.50, there's $7.50 in that bag plus tax. That's a good buy. Those are in, and that was so easy, you guys. It took me no time at all. As long as the soil is workable, you can get your bulbs in the ground or anything else you need to plant. I mean, technically you could still plant garlic right now with our weather like this. I mean, the ground is workable, and if you've amended your bed slightly, it makes it so much easier. So all we have left is to plant Finola, the pink tulip that was just gorgeous for color and everything. So let's put that in next. I am digging this. I mean, that's yeah, just I'm enjoying this. I'm really enjoying this out here, and I feel so good planting some more color in the yard. It's just a wonderful day. So this is Finola. This is the Finola, I should say. This is the double flowering late pink tulip. These ones look the best out of all the tulips I bought, and so tempted to go buy more, you guys, I'll tell you. Anyhow, these all look really, really good. I don't see anything, I think that's about the worst of shape here. These all are looking like really good, really nice solid bulbs. They're firm, flesh is good. I don't see anything bad in the bunch at all with these. So there's 48 of them in here. I've got 4 holes I'm putting them in, and I'm putting them in the areas where you can see them from the driveway and from the kitchen, where there's sun too. So right along here is where I'm running them, and right down here at the front. So when I look out the window or out the door, I will see these. So I've done 4 holes, and I'm going to throw 12 of these in each one of the holes. So simple, you guys. They had a lot of daffodils at Lowe's left. I could have planted some daffodils and tried them. They were really good quality. You can see a lot of people here in Saskatchewan don't buy daffodils because I find they rot in our climate. If you go out to BC, which is west of us, You will see daffodils growing wild in the fields. So pretty. But here in Saskatchewan, it's hit or miss with them. I think if I did daffodils again, I'd have to use a lot of sand for good drainage because of our clay soil. So it would be like digging the holes deeper, putting in sand, planting the daffodil, and then putting sand on top and covering over lightly with clay. Very lightly though, so that they have good drainage. And it would have to be in a very dry area just because of our climate and our soil type here. I mean, you can amend the soil all you want, but clay is clay, and it's eventually the soil that you add and the amendments you add are going to sink down into the clay. And so you still got some clay in there, right? And clay doesn't drain the best. So yeah, that might be a next year thing that I give that a try. I wouldn't mind giving it a go because I think I would enjoy it. And there's some pretty ones out there, especially the ones I see that have a little bit of peach color in them, a little bit of oranges. I think they'd be really pretty and brighten my spirits in the spring because our winters are long, right? So the point of planting bulbs, in my opinion, is for mental health. So I need some color. I crave color. Even in my house, I crave color. I'm not the typical, all the walls have to be white, etc. I do have that, but then I have to add color. And you can tell by my kitchen in prior videos and that I like color. Because I find it very bland and boring if it's an all white kitchen. Like I need something, and not necessarily do I want to buy, flowers and stuff all the time or vases and things, which, I do anyhow, but I don't want to do that all the time. So I like to wake up in the morning and see color, and it just makes me happy. So I am one of those color people, and I'm not afraid of color. So anyhow, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a beautiful day. Rob is cleaning leaves out there. You can probably hear the blower going through most of this because the trees did not realize it was winter. So they're still dropping leaves. It's crazy. So everything is covered. Our driveway is covered. And that's so the next week we'll do what we can to clean up. And they come pick up our yard waste bins tomorrow. So he's trying to get rid of it. I'm not going to keep the leaves as leaf mulch. My compost bin that Rob created for me is already full for this year, and we have way too many leaves. We have everybody's leaves in our yards plus ours. So I don't want to keep it all because it's just too much work bagging it. And quite honestly, I could do with a little bit less of that labor intensive work and spend more time on planting beautiful things. So thank you everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one. Don't forget, new videos every Wednesday, probably till February, and I'll add the odd one in here and there as I have additional footage for you. I don't want to bore you with a bunch of stuff that you don't want to see. Thank you. More fun stuff coming. I've got some great ideas. Bye.